So we are here with Justin Hartman and Earth Grasper, also known as Jonathan Penchoff.
I think it would be the opposite. I think it'd be Jonathan Penchoff, also known as Earth Grasper.
Nope.
But
Everybody knows you as Earth Grasper. So
fair enough. Fair enough.
let me pull my
As Jake says.
let me pull my questions real quick for you guys. Okay, so can you tell everybody basic information about you guys? What shop you work at, what city you work at, and what your name? Well, your Instagram handle.
After you.
My Instagram handle is Earth Grasper, and I currently work in Denver, Colorado at a shop called Till Death.
My Instagram is Justin Hartman Art, and I was in San Diego at the Grand Reaper, which that's my home base, but I'm traveling right now through the States.
Are you guest spotting as you go?
Yeah,
Okay.
I've been working with Jonathan, and then I worked with the guys at, the folks at Tribal Rights.
Yeah,
Fort Collins.
it's a good shop.
Mm-hmm.
You're both from Phoenix originally, or you both lived in Phoenix at a certain time. So let's go. Yeah, you both lived in Phoenix. Did you know each other while you lived there?
Yeah, but not well.
Kinda, yeah. There were a lot of run-ins and third-party minglings, but we never really hung out necessarily all that much.
You both relocated to new cities after Phoenix. You went to San Diego. You went to Denver. Why did you choose those shops? You went to great shops in each city. Why did you choose those shops?
Mine, I was supposed to open a shop with Chris originally. We had talked about it because I was moving there, and we knew each other a little bit. So we intended on opening a shop together, but the shop he was working in, the owner just kind of bailed, and he had the option to take it over. So should I be looking at you, or should I be looking at the camera?
It doesn't matter.
All right,
look at me. Look at the camera. It doesn't
Cool.
matter.
I'm gonna go camera.
I'm gonna look at Jonathan.
Yeah, that's fine. Look at each other.
So Jonathan,
Gaze into each other's eyes.
Tell me about this.
So me and Chris were supposed to open a shop.
Yeah.
Okay. Chris took over the shop he was working at. Follow me? And then, so I was going to work there temporarily till I figured out my situation. But it all just worked out, and I ended up staying, and
I'm wearing a Grand Reaper shirt right now.
he is.
That was unintentional.
Sure.
I swear to God, that was unintentional.
But anyway, so that's just kind of how it worked out. And so Chris fell into this situation. I started working with him. It was just me and him. And then eventually, old Glenda Lay Bully came on.
Yep.
And Lucas Da Adams and Mark Walker. And, we became a happy little family.
I left Phoenix because it was boiling lava hot, and I had been there for 9 years, and I didn't want... That was the first place I moved to from Wisconsin, and I really didn't want the first place I moved to be the place I moved. So I went to Denver. I was actually supposed to move to Texas, and I went to Denver on a guest spot, and it happened to be in January, and I could wear a sweatshirt and be comfortable, and I went snowboarding, and I was like, oh wait, I like this. And I think 2 days after I left that guest spot, I contacted Josh, who owns Till Death, and I was like, what if I decide to come out here? Could you make a spot? And he's like, yeah, of course. So I called the dudes in Texas and said, sorry, I'm not coming. I'm going to Denver. And that was pretty much that.
It seems like Till Death is running out of spots to give to people. You guys have a great shop filled with a great crew of guys, or a great crew of artists.
Yeah, it's fucking mental, man. We have some who are kind of leaving, unfortunately, but it's kind of weird because a lot of times when you lose a big piece of your puzzle like that, you kind of sit there and hold your breath like, oh shit, who could replace us? But at Till Death, it's been awesome because anytime we lose one of our friends to go somewhere else, a new awesome dude comes in. Dave Robinson just came in, and you're just like,
Scott Santee just came in. Gordon Combs just moved in. It's just every time you're like, oh shit, what are we gonna do now? Then this next dude comes and fills up the spot so nicely. It's pretty rad. That's interesting.
Yeah, it's a cool shop.
Yeah, definitely. Both of them are great shops. You're both at great shops with other amazing artists. How do you feed off of each other? I mean, working with high-level artists, there's nobody at any of your guys' shops that are just not killing it.
Yeah, it's hard to find the weak link at the shops.
I think it just comes from seeing what the guy next to you is doing and just being like, okay. And then, kind of trying to outdo each other, but in a healthy way, Because I don't know, you'll see somebody do something amazing and you're like, fuck, and you start doubting your own work, so you try to elevate it, and then they feel the same way, and you just keep going up.
Yeah.
So it's just healthy competition. I think at some point you just hopefully inspire each other. Like at the shop, like we're all close. Like, you know what I mean? Like we're always, we don't just work together. Like we're always pretty much interacting with each other. So I think that's kind of sometimes can be rare. Like we all literally like Thanksgiving, boom, we're all here. Like something happens, like it's, you know, it really is like a little like shop family, you know, it's fucking cool. So it's pretty easy to kind of keep bouncing off each other. So
we don't have that dynamic as much at Till Death, which kind of bums me out, but it's understandable because a lot of the dudes have like families and stuff like that.
Plus, there's a ton of
I was gonna say,
yeah,
Pride
it's also
Maker's much smaller.
Yeah, it's huge. You know, it's kind of hard. It's cool though because there is a lot of the same thing where like at almost every tattoo I do, every day I work, I go look at everyone else's stuff, and it's a lot of inspiration that way. Kind of like you said, like friendly competition. But Till Death also has a really steady flow of guest artists coming in. So like sometimes, not saying you don't get inspired, but you can become a little stagnant with seeing the dudes working on. Like Josh works on, you know, maybe 30 clients all year. So I'm seeing these projects. It's just back piece after back piece. So I'm seeing these same clients all the time, same projects slowly progressing. It kind of can become a little like redundant and a little easy to not be as inspired because you're only seeing a little bit at a time. But then like Hartman comes in and you have this whole new fresh dude to look at. So a lot of times, I mean, at least every month we have a guest come in. So every month you have this new source of inspiration to look at and be like, oh, fuck, man. Like, okay, cool.
Yeah, we get a lot too.
Justin, you're pretty well known for your large scale pieces. What's your balance on the projects you're working on, large scale versus one shot, smaller pieces?
I don't do a lot of one shots. I think I'm going to be doing more now that I'm on the road. For instance, I went to Fort Collins and a lot of my clients, because they travel, they need a little more time than I was able to give them for Fort Collins. So I only booked two people that came in that were previously started. So I mean, I started 3 one-shot pieces, but it's pretty rare for that to happen. Like I almost feel lost doing a piece this big because, you know, I'm shading a face that's this big as opposed to this big. So it actually takes me a little bit longer because I can't just cruise and go as fast. I have to be a little more accurate, I guess, and focused in. But I'd say the ratio to pieces that take more than one sitting as opposed to pieces I do in one shot, it's like 90-10.
Okay. And you're pretty well known for your ladies. Do you ever run out of ideas on new designs for your ladies?
All the time.
Where do you typically find new references from or new inspiration from?
I have endless reference. The reference isn't necessarily a problem. It's the formula to put them together. Because, you know, I think we all get kind of stuck in like how we place things, and eventually you keep doing that over and over. It's gonna all kind of look the same every time. You're just gonna be like, okay, like people can start to guess what you're gonna do. Like he's gonna do this style of face. There's gonna be a flower here. There's gonna be the hair going this way.
And the hand.
So yep, always the hand.
Do you ever get tired of doing them?
If I do them that way over and over and over, yes.
Yeah.
If I keep trying to change it and recreate it and do something different, which is hard to sometimes break out of your shell, and because you're like, it's easy to do it this way because I've done it 100 times, but now I got to figure out a new way. So I think that's kind of important way to not get tired of them.
I'm sorry, I'm reading questions too at the same time. Jonathan, we know you enjoy building and making things, right?
Yep.
Apparently. This is a question from Kevin.
Oh.
Do you enjoy this because it's different from tattooing, and what's the lesson you made?
Yeah, I think definitely it's a thing for me. Like with tattooing, a lot of it is like something that is already being made to sell. Like I'm making this because someone asked me to make this. And then in like carpentry or sculpture or any other like medium I work with, no one's asking me to make it. Like this is something that I'm choosing to make. It's fun for me. And the moment that someone's like, oh, make me this, then I kind of lose interest. Like I was making these coffin mirrors for a while, and I was selling them really quickly as soon as I made them, but then it got to the point where people started messaging me being like, hey, I want in on that next order, and I haven't even thought about making another one
That's what I was
since.
going to ask. I was going to say, are you doing a lot of commissions for those coffins that you make?
Yeah, I just, they were really fun when like it was almost a surprise, but tattooing already fulfills that part of my life where people are asking me for something. So when I'm doing those projects, it's usually like just something that I would like to do. I'm currently in the middle of making a little table I have a lot of plants at my house, and I have a money tree that's gotten too big to be on a table it was previously on, but too small to just be on the ground. So I'm making just like a 16-inch high table. I started it while Justin was there, and that's kind of just sitting and waiting for me to get home right now.
So, Justin, you presented on Monday at the Explorer Conference in St. Louis. Can you give a brief description on what you presented about?
Yeah, it was mostly large-scale tattooing, and kind of, since that doesn't relate to everybody that's here, I try to present it in a way like if you want to move that direction, how to move that direction. Stuff that I struggle with, because people think that, you know, if you follow somebody on Instagram and you're only seeing the stuff they want to post, some people think like this guy can like you don't struggle, you know. Like you'll look at so and so artist and just think it comes just natural to them, and like, you know, just kind of let everybody know that it's all the same for all of us, you know. Like we all doubt ourselves and we all have a hard time getting to that finished product, you know. It's just an uphill climb the whole way for everybody.
You got Grind Reaper had an artist join your guys' roster recently that does a lot of palm tattoos, like inside the actual hand. And Tattoo Snob posted one a week or two ago, and we got a lot of comments saying this is not going to last. Palm tattoos never last. While working with that guy, I'm looking for a way to question this, but I mean, like, how does he do it that make actually palm tattoos last?
You know, if that's information that if he wants to give, he can give it.
Okay, just curious.
That's his thing. But I will say this to all the people that are, you know, skeptical about it. I mean, we'll see over time, you know. But the ones I've seen come back healed, they're fucking solid, man. They're in there.
Yeah, that's tattooing your soul. That's like, I mean, that's not a normal
like
tattoo.
He knows that shit hurts, but he's doing what he's got to do to make it stay. You know what I mean? Like my buddy Tony, he's got a palm tattoo. I believe Michael Bergfalk did it, and I mean that thing's at least 5 years old. It's still there. So
yeah,
I mean it's not like kind of there, like it's there.
Yeah,
it's not going anywhere. So I think Mark is. I think he knows what he's doing, and I think in 10 years he can just show people and be like, boom, there you go.
Yeah, I mean they're interesting tattoos, and it's just one of the things when you post them on Instagram, you got all the.
Yeah, it's a billion people who are thinking of it as a normal tattoo. Like, you wouldn't tattoo the same way you'd tattoo a forearm. So, yeah, if you tried that technique on a palm, it's not going to be there. But it's a different style, you know?
It doesn't matter what you do. There's people on Instagram that are going to...
Yeah. Nope, definitely.
Yeah.
One of the topics of conversation throughout the last couple of days has been the use of digital technology in tattooing. How do you guys feel about the discussion between digital format and paper? And as a young tattoo artist, do you think they should start out with paper and pencil, then move to digital, or just jump straight into digital right away?
I mean, most people that are going to apprentice are going to be, let's say, low end. Let's go real low end. Maybe you'd get an apprenticeship at 17, maybe earlier in certain instances. Maybe, you know, that age to maybe like, let's say 25. I know, just as a form of, you know, place to start. So that means these people have been drawing hopefully before iPads were a thing. So they should have that, they should already know how to draw on paper because they probably grew up doing that. I think at this point, man, I mean, that's the direction it's moving. Like some people are hesitant to go in that direction. Some people just completely hate it. And, you know, some people like to stick with paper. I get paper, you have a tangible, real thing, and then on the iPad it disappears, poof, like there goes all your sketches. So I think in the end it's, you know, the iPad doesn't draw for you, you know, like it makes things easier in some instances. Like,
and it doesn't make your tattoo either. Like,
no.
Even if you are using something like Tattoo Smart, like that is helping you make your designs cleaner, you still have to tattoo it cleanly. Sure. Like, I mean, it doesn't change your actual tattoo.
And in the end, we're here to do a good tattoo. So however you achieve that good tattoo, I mean, you know, that's the goal.
I also think just the whole state of everything has changed lately. Like, I mean, it's an evolving industry. So, like, you know, maybe 10 years ago, 20 years ago, you would take on someone who doesn't really know how to draw that well yet, take them on for reasons unknown, and be like, all right, trace everything in that Sailor Jerry book, you know, and like work on your line work. Now, I don't think you would take on an apprentice who doesn't already have a background in art, and like, a lot of times when the iPads were first coming out, like a lot of people fought it. I think Dave said he did,
Yep,
and then
I did too.
yeah, and then you try it and you're like, oh fuck, man, this is easy, and it's not just easier. It's the way that the industry is going, and if you're resisting that, you could be left behind. You know, like. And like I said, like Justin said too, like the important part is you're making a tattoo that works. So like how you get to that, the process of actual tattooing, I don't think matters quite as much as long as you can make a solid tattoo. So digital or tangible paper, whatever.
Where do you see the digital format changing tattoo in the next 10 years? Or how do you see it?
Hopefully not in a way that puts us out of a job.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it's hard to say, man. I mean, things are
I've seen
moving at
Starship Troopers.
Dan Pemble was talking at Hell City about how even with the evolution of the digital format, you guys are still in a craft that still requires tattoos to actually be done. So I mean, the art portion may be changed, but in the end, you still can't circumvent the actual tattoos.
I think you could relate it to like carpentry in a way. Like, you know, how many years ago were they still using hammer and nail for everything? And then along comes a nail gun and it speeds up the process, but that didn't get rid of a carpenter. Like, he still needs to be there to
You're
work
just changing
that
your
craft.
tools.
Yeah, and I think that it's likely that the tattooer won't disappear. I think that the tools and stuff may make it easier for us, but I don't foresee like just a time where it's just like, and there you go, you're tattooed, you know, you're just set. Like,
Yeah.
I think the craft will still be there.
For everybody who's attended the Explorer conference, what would you like them to take away from this and integrate into their work?
You know, I think it's really cool for a lot of people. You think about who's presenting, and they're like proverbial giants in the industry a lot of times. But, you know, it kind of levels the playing field out a little bit. I was just at Tattoo the Lou, and like you walk around the show and people aren't really like walking up to you and being like, hey, I'm so-and-so, nice to meet you right away. But here there's like a really open atmosphere that encourages people to do that. And I think it levels the playing field for a lot of people who are maybe new into tattooing or have been tattooing for a long time and just haven't gotten to a point of their career where they want to be or whatever. It takes people like Teresa and Kelly and almost humanizes them a little bit. Mm-hmm. Like Justin said, an Instagram only shows you what you want it to be shown. Like, this is a chance to actually meet people and then kind of like really connect with them. And it's cool to see that like Russ is just another human with a weird sense of, he's another weird art guy, you know? Yeah. So I think this is really cool for that. And I hope that people leave here thinking like, yeah, those are just a bunch of my peers. Like, those are people who are also in this industry doing the same thing that I'm doing. And like, it's not like just holding these people on this pedestal too high, you know?
Yeah, I completely agree.
So you want to ask each other a few questions, and then we'll wrap this up.
Oh, I didn't know I was asking you anything.
Well, you don't have to if you don't want
Well,
to.
Hang on a second. So when we posted you did a promo video for us at Hell City. And when we posted it, you got a lot of people who say you look like Chris Pratt, apparently. I don't see the resemblance, but
I fucking wish, man. Hopefully they mean like the new Jurassic Park or Jurassic World Chris Pratt and not like fat, weird, like sad, weird Chris Pratt from Parks and Rec. Although he was really funny, so whatever. I don't necessarily see that, but I strangely get that.
There was quite
sometimes.
a few comments. He looks like Chris Pratt.
That's what
We should have dressed like twins for this.
Yeah, had we known, we could.
And then people could just guess who was who.
One time when I lived in Phoenix, I was at a place called Chiba Hut. It's a sandwich place. And
we both had really long hair at the time.
Oh yeah, we always he copies my haircut all the time.
It's just always coincidence. I see him and his hair's cut, and I'm like, fuck, man.
Yeah.
I got the same shit.
But anyway, we both had our long hair at the time, and I was sitting there eating, and this guy was kind of like looking at me, and you could like feel that he was looking at me. And he gets up to leave, and he walks out, and he was so confident, he was so proud. He looked at me, he's like, Justin Hartman, and I just was like, Jonathan Penchoff, and I pointed back at him, and he was just like, and just walked away, and that was my favorite.
So this was totally like this is reaching a little bit, but at Tribal Rights, somebody had to fill out a consent form, and they wrote under artist, they wrote Jonathan, and I just took a picture, sent it to him. I was like, I don't think this is like what I'm thinking it is, but still kind of funny.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
I was texting with Bobby the other night, and him and I were working on some questions together, and he threw one at me that I really liked, and I'm interested to know the answer here.
All right, here we go.
And I'm kind of going to tweak it a little bit. If one of your friends had to die, like you have to choose this person and they're going to die, but their ghost is going to haunt you for the rest of your life. And now by haunt, I mean like playful haunting. We're talking Casper the Friendly Ghost haunt. Like they're just your buddy, but they're always around. And now they can go through your walls and shit like that. But they have to die in the physical world. Who would you choose?
That's like the most Bobby question ever.
Yeah, well, I tweaked it to where they're like, you have to choose who dies. I think his was just like way nicer. Like,
See,
oh,
what if I throw that shit into the universe, right? And then I'm just wondering, like, fuck.
I talked to you about throwing things in the universe 1 week ago, and you did not seem like you believed that to be real. And now all of a sudden you're bringing that up when I ask a question on live broadcasting? Come on.
I would say Jonathan Penchoff. Because then it'd be like...
You'd really be
man.
fulfilling a dream of mine to die and
It'd
be
almost
a ghost.
be like, you know, like a ghost that, like, it...
It's like a shadow. Kind of looks
I don't
like
think
you.
we don't look as much alike as most people seem to think, but it's almost like, that's what I look like as a ghost. And then, you know, I think you'd tell me cool stories from beyond the grave and shit.
I would fill you in.
Do you
think that you would use a Ouija board to communicate with me, or do you think that I could just communicate with you?
I won't fuck with Ouija boards, man. I'm scared of those things.
Alright, so I have to go out of my way to communicate with you. Alright,
Yeah, I mean,
making it a
just,
little
you know,
difficult.
just ease into the situation. Like, don't pop in the mirror when I'm brushing my teeth or something. It's
Okay.
when I was a kid, I was always afraid, like,
What if I leave
look in the mirror,
notes
there's
for
gonna be
you,
something behind it.
like written in some sort of like code? Will you find it? Oh, here's a fun fact I read once.
I'll
I
just
read
put
that.
up some lights, like Stranger Things. You can just, yeah.
Oh, that's a great way to communicate, actually.
Yeah, and then I have cool mood lights too. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
One time I read that if you feel like you're in a haunted place and you feel cold, you should look down at the ground because most ghost sightings include seeing the ghost's feet. So if you're ever really cold when I'm a ghost, just look down. Maybe I'm going through you. That's weird
This is getting
to think about.
This is getting intimate.
I'm in your clothes.
Oh.
Yeah.
All
Think
right.
about that.
Yeah.
My other question is, and this is a more serious one, if you could go back in time and change one thing about tattooing that you think has affected tattooing in a positive and or negative way, whatever you see fit, is there one thing that you could go back in time and change about the like trajectory of the industry?
These aren't like on the spot questions. This is like
I thought of it on the
These
spot.
are a lot harder questions than I have.
Oh, well.
All right.
I'm trying to get to the real dirt, you know?
I don't know how I would change this. I'm not necessarily gonna say that reality tattoo shows have been a negative effect on the industry completely.
Yeah, that's a double-edged sword on that one.
Absolutely. However, I miss the days, which it wasn't even that long ago, but tattooing and the whole tattoo world was kind of a mystery. And it's also that's like a double-edged sword too, because it's good to have all that information like accessible to you.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like there's something fun about like, I mean,
Yeah, it was like an
Social
industry
media.
of pariah. It was
sure,
a cool thing
or
to
even
look in on.
even just underground scenes in general. It's barely a thing anymore
It's true.
because everything's so like accessible. You can go like on Instagram right now and figure out what people are doing in Germany right now,
Yeah.
or
Maybe sleeping. I don't know
fucking
what time it is there.
anywhere.
When you
So-
guys tattoo, since the explosion of tattoo shows, when you guys tattoo people now, do they try to have conversations with you about the equipment that you use? Like, oh, I see you're using this machine from the information they learned on
Yeah.
Inkmaster?
One thing I think is funny is on Inkmaster they project the tattoo sound of a coil machine, even if you're using a rotary machine. Like if you could be using the Cheyenne pen, they will still play a meh, like a buzz. So sometimes I notice a lot of clients will come in and I'll be using the pen and they go, "Oh, your machine's quiet." I'm like,
Yeah.
Yeah, they are.
That's a big reason that I feel. I've just heard about like shows taking like a reaction from somebody that's like, say you told me a joke and I laugh.
Yeah.
And then in the show they'll put it in like something fucked up happened and like,
Yeah.
and then they laugh at it and then everybody's like, oh, that guy's a dick. I don't want to be portrayed to
You
be
can't really
Yeah.
control how you're portrayed on these
Yeah.
shows.
Not at all. At least from what I understand.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I know this to be fact, but
If you don't want something to be put on the show, absolutely, just start singing like Disney or Beatles.
Yeah.
They don't have the rights to that, and they're not going to get the rights to that, and they're not going to put it on.
so any reaction?
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
just
You're like, ah! Yeah, you're just start singing Aladdin. I feel like, that would be a pretty sick.
Jonathan, can you
sick
answer
one.
your own question?
Which one?
The one
Ghost?
about changing. No. Well, sure. Answer both of them.
Yeah, which one of your friends?
Yeah.
I'm making
Throw that
Jordan
out.
Clark. He's my best friend for like most of my life. I want him to be a ghost, mostly because I think it would be funny because he would be semi-tortured to be a ghost, and there's a strange dynamic between us where I think it's funny where he's like a little uncomfortable. So I would pick him because
He didn't even have to think about that shit. But also, is your own question? You've already thought about it, probably. Yeah.
I have thought about it. Also, like, I mean, I'm blood brothers with that guy on more than one occasion. He's my best friend for many, many years now. So I'm going Jordan Clark. That motherfucker's dead. I hope I get to choose how he dies too, in a really weird way, like long. The other answer would be the other answer.
You should have started singing the whole new.
I would say Yelp. Yelp
Yeah.
being involved in tattooing, I think, is the fucking worst. Like,
Yelp is the worst.
people only use Yelp when they're upset, and when it comes to tattooing, you almost never see a Yelp review based on the tattoo. It's like, I didn't like how they said swear words there. And now there are some things, particularly in the current climate of things, that I think should be talked about. But if you go into a shop and you didn't like that the guys were using, like, maybe crass language, saying some swear words, yeah, or you go in with a shitty idea and you're unwilling to adjust your idea, I don't think that you should use a platform to be like, fuck this shop. They wouldn't do this really bad idea that, like, they offered, in reality, they may have offered to be like, hey, that's not the best idea, but we could change it to this. And if someone isn't willing to negotiate on that or, like, try to get a better tattoo, they can just go on Yelp and be like, suck it.
You ever read a review on Amazon? It's like 1 star, and it's like, they sent me the wrong size.
Yeah.
It's like, you're not reviewing Amazon.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
reviewing this product.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, one of my biggest gripes would be involving things like Yelp into tattooing.
Okay. 2 last questions. Can you both talk about what you're working on in 2018, future plans? If anybody, this is like a 6-part question. If anybody's interested in Tattooed by You, how do they contact you? Your Instagram name and your website name.
Okay. Let's do one at a time. First one.
Instagram name.
Earth Grasper.
Justin Hartman Art. Or as some people used to think, Justin Hartman Art. True thing. Some people thought that was what it was.
I thought it was Justin Fartman.
That's close enough.
Website.
No website. I have a big cartel. JustinHartmanArt.BigCartel.com.
Oh, that's easy to remember. Mine's earthgrasper.com because I'm an adult and I got a website.
I don't need one.
If anybody wants to get tattooed by you guys, how should they get in contact with you?
You just got to catch me at the right time.
Yeah.
That's really what it comes down to. But I'm traveling now, so, like I said, sometimes if I don't have enough notice to book the people that I'm currently working on, I'm going to have spots open. So if I have these spots open, it will be posted on Instagram. Yeah, so we have to go back to California. I think from there we're going to go up the coast and maybe check out Canada a little bit. And then we're supposed to go to Hawaii in September, and after that, I'm not sure.
You ever been to Banff, Canada?
I've been to, like, Montreal.
You ever
That's
been- you
about
ever
it.
Love Banff, but
Banff is absolutely gorgeous.
it
If
looks
you're-
like a postcard.
Yeah.
I got held at the border for hours once because I told them I was going to Banff, and they went, Banff, huh?
They strip
Come
searched me
over here.
when I went up there.
Oh,
Yeah.
Hung
For the
Dong?
party.
Yeah, Banff
wow.
sounds awesome.
Yeah, check out Banff, dude.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Banff
Yeah.
is beautiful.
I think you guys are setting me up.
yeah.
Last question. Who loves dogs more?
Oh, him.
Absolutely me.
I mean, I
That's
love
not-
dogs, but this guy like stop in his tracks.
Yeah, I do.
What's
Like
your
he'll like stop tattooing just to look out the window for a dog.
Yeah, it's
What's your
one of my favorite
Instagram
games.
for your dogs?
Oh, I have a Instagram where when I'm on the road and I'm petting other people's dogs, it's just called The Dogs I Pet. Actually, my answer for the 2018 is I'm getting a fucking dog in July.
What kind of dog are you getting?
It's a Great Dane.
Oh,
It's going
nice.
to be the best. He was born on April 26th. I'm just waiting to hold him and hug him. And
Yeah.
Put his snout in my mouth as a giant kiss.
And let me just say again, just to set the record straight, I fucking love dogs.
He has a great dog. His name's Chewy.
Yes, we saw him during the presentation.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
Several
cute.
times.
He was a crucial part to that presentation.
I
But
agree.
this guy loves
It's
dogs.
true. They're the best. It's the only. If someone wanted to argue to me, like, I don't believe in God, but if someone wanted to be like, oh yeah, no, God exists, and I was like, fuck you. If they would have just said, yeah, but dogs, I would have been like,
Yeah. Like if I took a picture of a random
but I thought of it
dog,
first, so they can't use it on me now.
Like if I was just walking and I was like, dog, send it to him. Stoked.
Yesterday, Josh Bowers, in the middle of a, I don't even remember whose presentation, I just got an airdrop thing and I look at my phone and it's this adorable dog that Bowers sent me and I just started giggling. I was like, stupid. And I zoomed in on its little nose and mouth. It was awesome. Dogs are the best.
When Kevin and I were out in Denver, when we went hiking, you were walking up a trail, and this blonde-haired woman was walking a golden lab or something like that. And you're like, oh, look at you, you little blonde cutie, and the woman thought you were talking to her.
Yeah.
But you were actually talking to the dog.
That's
I think
the best
that's
thing
something
too.
people need to. If I ever address your dog, I promise you, I'm not trying to talk to you. I don't want to talk to you.
He actually usually doesn't talk to the dog.
I don't even look
Just the
at
dog.
them. I just talk to the dog.
It's hilarious.
I have zero interest in humans. I only want to talk to your fucking dog.
Cool. Well, you can come take my dog anytime you want.
Sick.
Thank you guys very much for your time. We appreciate it. Tattoo Snob is huge fans of both of you guys' work, and we love following you, love looking at the work that you guys produce, and we can't thank you enough for sitting down to take the time to talk with us.
Yeah,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Thank you.